Hello everyone and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. Today we have something a little different on the bench, something that, based on unpopular opinion, I'm not a huge Mac fan, just never have been. I went through a Mac stage in my life where I did have a MacBook Pro and an iMac and iPhone and all that good stuff. But yeah, hopefully I don't lose anybody over that. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. However, I did come across an opportunity to get this original iBook G3, nicknamed the Clamshell notebook, early notebook from 1999. And you know, I've seen these in the market. You know, I remember back when these were around, and I mean, they came in the blueberry color, and I think they also came in a blueberry and tangerine. It was like an orange color. Anyway, so they were introduced as a budget notebook to the Apple line at the time, and that particular budget notebook sported a few, you know, interesting features. You know, it was Apple's introduction to AGP in terms of the hardware that was actually within the unit itself, even though it lacked certain ports and certain things that you would want to have on a system, specifically like video out and microphone and FireWire and what have you. Something that really stood out in this that was introduced in this unit and became later a standard is what we all know now as the airport wireless feature. And this was introduced in this model, later became adopted into later models. Again, this coming out in 99. I mean, and on the Microsoft side, we had, you know, Windows 2000 and ME in development. We had Windows 98, second edition in full force. We still had some legacy operating systems going. And there was a huge battle at the time between, IBM clone machines, laptop race. It seems like every time you turned around, there was a new laptop with a new upgrade, a new feature that was available on the market. So let's go ahead and dig into this one and find out exactly, you know, just kind of do a little tour around the system and talk about the hardware, and we'll see if it turns on. I haven't turned this on. This was, again, donated to the channel, and I said, hey, you know, I'll take it. I'll do a little bit of research on it and what have you. And again, we haven't had any Apple or Mac products on the channel. So if you want to see more of that and challenge me a little bit, I'm happy to do so. Just leave a comment down below and let me know, and we'll interact, and we'll see what we can do. All right, this is as we always do with any sort of laptop or any sort of intro like this. Let's start in the front, lift it up in the front, and we'll look around. So you do notice the blueberry coloring on the front. I mean, that's just a plastic insert on the laptop. And I mean, it's just very straightforward, very well rounded in the front. I mean, there's no visible latches that I see here. Now I imagine that just opens up. Yeah, it's just friction to open up, spring loaded there. So, I mean, there's no real latches per se on the front. We'll go around counterclockwise here and just see what's here. So we have audio out by the looks of things in terms of just a regular jack for audio out. We have USB, which I believe is USB version 1 or version 1.1. It is something that was just being introduced into the systems and all that good stuff in terms of ports. And then we have our networking card, our networking port there, and that's a direct connection. So that's USB 1.1. And then we have our RJ45 connection, which is 10 base 100. So it's 10/100 Ethernet. And then we have our 56K modem, internal modem, RJ11 connection there. So, I mean, in terms of getting online, it was capable. You know, if we talk about the airport, which we're going to hopefully, when we fire it up, be able to see that there. But when you talk about, you know, taking this to university or taking this to school or just being home on the network, I mean, it's very capable of connecting to the internet and or connecting your home LAN and what have you to be able to do all that, which is wonderful. It'd be interesting to see what we have in terms of components. So on the back here, we have just the back of the system. It looks like all the vents are back here. Imagine what the active cooling system is for the CPU and all that good stuff. I see this one has a little bit of damage on it, but nothing too bad. I wasn't a huge fan of these clear kind of design. I mean, they did this for aesthetics and what have you, and then you have the Apple logo on the bottom as well. And it just says family M2453, but that is the iBook G3 300, which I believe it came with the 300 megahertz PowerPC G3 processor, I think 750. And then they had the options of coming with, whether it was 32 megs of RAM or 64 megabytes of RAM. And then they supported different hard drives as well. To my understanding, they came with either a 3.2 gigabyte hard drive or 6 gigabyte hard drive. Again, not knowing what's inside this particular one, we'll have to take a look when we load it up. But again, years have passed since this has been in use, so curious to see if it's been upgraded. We also have a drive on the side here. I believe this is a 24-speed CD-ROM drive as well, and on the side here. So that's something that is good to have as well. And then we have what looks like our power connector. I mean, they use this was the cord, rather nice and wrapped up. I mean, it is what it is. And then we have what looks like, so our barrel connector for our power as well. Let's go ahead and just turn this around here back to the front and just do an opening of the actual MacBook. The first time Apple has been on this bench. All right, let's go ahead and open it up. All right. Let's do a little adjustment here so everybody can see what's going on. Here we go. All right. So it says, we supports the iBook, and then we have our screen. It looks like we have a laptop inside of a shell. They called it the clamshell just because of the shape of what it is. And all that good stuff. But again, just looking at it, it just looks like a MacBook that's been put inside plastic. It clearly shows, we have the Apple logo here, some cracking around the logo here. It might just be because of age, of the plastics again. The system is, 99. We're talking 24 years old here. So it's just, we forget about these things in the later years. Well, at least I do. I can't speak for everybody, where, you have a system like this and you go, oh, that's not too bad. And then you go look it up or do some research and go, holy heck. That came back 20 plus years ago. When you think about that, that's quite a bit of time. And then, so in terms of, we have this translucent material keyboard where you can see all the different switches underneath. The keyboard itself, in terms of comfort, me just putting my wrists on here and just rest them here and pretending like I'm going to type, it's not too bad in terms of comfort. The hinges, even after all these years, that's very, 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 very tight. So there's some quality inside there, despite it being a budget notebook. And then on top of all that, the keys themselves are mushy. I'm not going to lie. They're definitely a little too soft, in terms of that. There's a lot of force that, in terms of mushy, it's just the feeling, very, very quiet and all that. But it does require a little bit of pressure to activate the key, of course. But again, I like a good keyboard, and I would say this is the middle of the road. I wouldn't go any better than that. And then we have our trackpad in the front here, just our track point or trackpad or whatever you want to call it. And then our two mouse buttons, which are right here. Very, very dainty is what I would say. You can clearly see where the contacts here are. Courtesy of the translucent material that we're using. And then we have the one speaker up here. One. I don't think you're getting stereo sound out of this by any means, but again, we'll see. Is there anything hidden else throughout the system? What else is possible in this? So definitely good. And then my understanding of this is a 12.1 inch screen, which is 800 by 600 native resolution for the screen. Again, in 99, that wouldn't have been terrible to have. There's obviously a lot of other competitors and other things that had different, again, as I mentioned earlier, the race to the notebook world that we were living. So anyway, let's go ahead and fire this machine up and see if we can get something going. Okay, so I have the power cord all connected here now, and there's a lot of access here, which is convenient. If you're sitting on the couch and your cord is plugged in elsewhere, I have no idea about the battery life on this thing. I don't know what the standard was in terms of longevity when it was brand new. But again, having that was the balance of power versus energy, and being able to outlive some of the other competitors in being mobile. And I'm not exactly sure in terms of a budget notebook what that would entail, but I'm going to be assured that the batteries are pretty low on this if it is that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit the power button, turn it on. We have the Apple chime. It's a good sign. I hear the hard drive clicking away. I see the Apple. Looks like a picture of a original Apple with the data now says Mac OS 9, and that screen is very, very dim. Let's see if we can get that adjusted for everybody. Okay, so I was able to get the brightness moved up here a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more, just so we have a good, decent angle on the screen. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this Mac just to see. So we have our Macintosh hard drive. Again, just not familiar with Mac too much, just outside of what it is. So it says 4.29 gig available. My gut feeling, based on everything that's on here installed, my gut feeling would be that this would have been the I believe it was the 6 gigabyte version of this system. So that's great to have a slightly better system. Let's go up here to Apple icon. Again, this is only my memory of Apple about this computer here. So it says here we have 192 megabytes of built-in memory. So, I mean, obviously whoever owned this maxed it out. I mean, the model shipped with 64 megs of RAM, 32 or 64, and this is coming with 192, which is pretty good. And then we have, in terms of our space that we already saw over in the system, we saw, it was 4 point something gig free. So, I mean, it surpassed the 3.2 gig model. So that's good. All right. So, I mean, there's a bunch of documents and applications and things like in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that for now. Mitchell, let's just move this aside there and see. So we have a couple of things that just not natively popped up on the system. Again, I haven't looked at this, and if I see any PII, I'll edit that out from the video. So, it says miscellaneous programs and files. This would have been shortcuts or something that was picked up or that the previous user had already set up. So we have Apple Works. We have Apple Page or Adobe PageMaker. We have Color Stylus Writer 1500. So would have had a printer attached to it. We have the different applications that are associated with that. We have our mail program, our Microsoft Internet Explorer, which is cool to have on a Mac, Nikon, at least my opinion, Nikon, Photo Studio, and then a couple other things. So we have, Apple Works here, and then all the different, we have Netscape Communicator, Photo Studio, and what have you. So that's pretty cool. So I noticed under the Apple icon, we do have the airport here, which is pretty cool. So this system did come with the wireless capability to connect to the internet wirelessly, and it's indicating that the software is not installed, but the fact that it's partly there, I understand that it comes with the hardware. I mean, again, the intention of this eventually is that I'll get another copy of OS 9 and I'll go ahead and get that installed on here and clean the system up. It's nice to hear that, I mean, the sound's all working and everything, which is really wonderful. And then so we have America Online 5, Apple System Profiler, so setting up your system, calculator, chooser, control panels. So we have our appearance, our Apple menu options, Apple Talk, all the different configurations of the system. I mean, we have memory, we have modem, monitors, mouse. So this would be like the equivalent of it says control panels right there, but I mean of the Windows control panel. I'm just going to click on memory just to see what's inside here. So, I mean, you can go in here and turn on your disk cache, your virtual memory, and your RAM disk. Now, I never played with a bunch of stuff on here. I just never did. But again, it's just really cool to see that that's, customizable and what have you. And another thing I noticed now is the internal battery, the CMOS battery. Well, I call it a CMOS battery, but the clock battery is probably dead because it's showing 12:08 a.m. right now. It's not 12 in the morning on January 1st of 2004. I assure you that. Yeah, I mean, we have a fully working iBook G3. I mean, it's really cool here. I just got distracted because Apple Works, equivalent of Microsoft Works, I guess, is what that would be, and then eventually Office. So, I mean, we have word processing, drawing, painting, spreadsheet, database. Click on the spreadsheet, create a new document, and there we go. I mean, yeah, it's pretty quick actually for a computer from 1999. And, I mean, at first it was a little hesitant starting up, but, yeah, I don't think it's any worse for wear. for the system. So I think that's pretty cool. And again, having a piece of history, again, it's 24 years old. We have to think about that and understand that that is something that is really neat to see. I'm just going to jump back into the control panel here and just to see if there's, like, I'm not seeing a lot of applications here. I mean, by the looks of things, it was used for business and photo editing. But again, what my intention would be is to go ahead and completely wipe this system, or install a fresh copy of OS 9 and get in there. So I think that would be probably a good option. I imagine with the stats in this system in terms of the hardware, we have the hard drive space and we also have lots of memory in here. I wonder if this would handle OS 10. Would we be able to upgrade that? Let me know in the comments below for all of my Apple and Mac enthusiasts, just because it'd be nice to know if I could do that. I mean, I'm happy to put 9 back on here, but to keep it as original as possible. But was 9 the original with this system? Like, what did this ship with? I never did actually end up searching that, so it's neat to do that. But again, I'm going to stop the video today for right now for this exploring this iBook. Again, just bringing this to the channel, something a little different than the standard working on the PCs or working working with PCs in general. And to date, we've always been working through that. So let's go ahead and just see this nice iBook clamshell system from 1999. And again, let me know your stories. Share down below if you feel that this system can be upgraded to iOS. I don't know why I keep on saying that, OS 10. And again, just really cool to see this system from 1999 being as old as it is. So to prevent myself from rambling even further, hopefully everyone enjoyed seeing a sample of this. Maybe you look back at this and went, hey, I remember that system from when I was younger, or I remember that system. I used to have one of those, and my goodness, I still have one of those in my closet downstairs. I'm going to go ahead and take it out and see if it still works. So again, I would like to take this apart, replace the clock battery, and potentially wipe it all, install it, and recommend to me in the comments below what you think I can do with this system. If was it good for any sort of games? Was it mainly focused on multimedia? Again, being an entry-level budget PC, what can we do with the system, and really, explore it and see what we can do with it. So again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Again, comment below. I respond to everybody I can. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate if you do that. It really helps me be able to bring this content to you. And also hit the notification button, the bell above. You'll be notified when new items are released, new videos are released. So in the meantime, thanks again for spending time with me. Hope everyone's having a great week, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.